What's going on everyone, Mike here, and in this video we're having side by side the Samsung Galaxy Alpha and the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact. The Z3 Compact is the true flagship, a miniaturized version of the Xperia Z3, with whom it shares most of its specs and features. The Galaxy Alpha is a top tier smartphone as well, but it cuts a few corners here and there, so at least on paper is at a disadvantage. The Z3 Compact also has a smaller footprint than the Alpha, and that's because it packs a slightly smaller screen, but also because its top and lower bezels are thinner than on the Samsung. The Alpha inherits the Android commands placed just beneath the screen from the other Galaxies, and that leads to a taller body, while the Sony still makes use of on-screen controls. The Z3 is however thicker and heavier than the Samsung, so these phones are really not much alike. On one side there's the Sony, whose screen is easier to cover with your thumb and whose rounded soft plastic edges make it comfortable to grab and hold, but its glass back is slippery and prone to smudges. On the other there's the Samsung, with its sharper metallic edges and a smooth polycarbonate back, which is still plastic at the end of the day but actually feels nice and makes the phone grippy. All in all, I'm enjoying both these devices. They are compact enough for single-hand use and they feel solid, reliable. There are a few practical aspects that might steer you towards one side or the other though. The Sony is waterproof and offers a microSD card slot, but all its connectors are hidden behind plastic caps, while the Samsung's back is removable and allows access to a replaceable battery, but lacks any means of expanding the storage space. So I'd say this round ends in a tie. The Sony gets the point when it comes to screen quality though, as it boosts a 4.7-inch 1920 by 1080 pixel display with an IPS panel, which is bright, vibrant and capable of painting natural-looking colors, but suffers from somewhat narrow viewing angles. The Galaxy packs a 4.7-inch screen with an AMOLED panel, and all of its pros and cons, including the rich blacks, deep contrast and oversaturated skewed colors, but a 1280 by 720 pixel resolution is the one dragging it down. It's not that bad, but you'll see pixels when dealing with text, and that shouldn't happen on a top-tier device. The low-resolution panel still has its benefits though, as you'll see later. Hardware-wise, there's a Snapdragon 801 chip in the Z3 Compact and the Exynos 5260 platform on the Galaxy Alpha, and the latter is really competitive, outmatching the Qualcomm option in most benchmarks and even in daily activities. It's hard to say which is the fastest of the two though. Both run Android 4.4, but differently tweaked and customized by each manufacturer. Sony's iteration is simpler, closer to stock KitKat, while Samsung's TouchWiz is known for changing everything that can be changed. But we can say this for sure, it won't be easy to find a more consistent user experience than on these phones, as they both work smooth with almost no hiccups at all. On top of that, you'll find proprietary apps on both these devices, like S Health and S Voice on the Samsung, or Walkman, PlayStation and Xperia Lounge on the Sony. Picking one software solution over the other is in the end only up to you, as both sides have their fair share of pros and cons. Next we get to talk about the cameras. The Alpha gets a 12 megapixel shooter, while the Z inherits the 20.7 megapixel shooter we've seen on the previous Sony Z smartphones. On paper, it's a class above what the Alpha can offer. In practice, the difference between the two is pretty narrow. You'll find a few different samples in the written comparison posted on tlbhd.com, make sure to check it out for my notes and for your own conclusions. Last but not least, there's the battery life, and here's where the Alpha gets its point back. Despite packing a smaller battery than the Z3 Compact, the Samsung can easily get through the day and even reach the end of the second day most of the time. The Sony won't die on you in the middle of the afternoon, but will usually need a refill each night. Both handsets offer ways of squeezing more out of their batteries, with the ultra power saving mode on the Samsung or the stamina mode on the Sony, but by cutting access to some features or capping the overall speed, which are compromises I'm usually not willing to make unless really needed. Alright, all this being said, we can conclude that there are reasons to get either of these phones. The Sony Xperia Z3 Compact makes less compromises and is overall perhaps the better option if you're after a compact Android handset with top tier features and don't mind charging it every night. The Samsung checks most of the right boxes as well, and is a different device. Lighter but slightly bigger, with a different kind of screen, a different UI and longer battery life. Which one I choose in the end is really not important here. What matters more is which one you'd choose. So please let me know who gets your hard-earned buck. Is it the beefy waterproof Sony Xperia Z3 Compact, or the sleek Samsung Galaxy Alpha, the long-awaited Samsung smartphone with a metallic body? I'll be waiting for your comments below, and I'm around to reply if you have any questions or need help deciding. But for now, I must thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out, share the clip around if you enjoyed it, and check out the complete coverage of both these devices on the channel. See you later.